SSTF is also concerned about the unequal tax treatment on death of a RRIF held by a single senior. If you're married or living common law and your spouse is the beneficiary, the value of the RRIF can be rolled over to the surviving spouse. The spouse then takes the minimum withdrawal from the total RRIF each year and pays tax on it as received. The tax is spread out over the lifespan of the surviving spouse. But if you're single when you die, and most people are, the RRIF value is paid to the designated beneficiary, but the estate has to include the amount of the RRIF as income in the year of death in your final tax return. The resulting extra income tax could be up to 50% of the RRIF value. Also, the RRIF value, if it makes your income higher than the maximum OAS clawback level, you have to pay back your OAS. And if the estate doesn't have enough money to pay the extra tax, CRA could come after the beneficiary of the RRIF to get that amount paid. Here's an example for a single senior in 2023 with an income of $70,000 and a RRIF value of $200,000. The estate would have had to pay $85,000 in extra tax and $9,200 in OAS paid back. That's about $94,000 out of $200,000. And there's also cases of second marriages where both people might have kids. They want to leave them their RRIFs. They can't under the current tax system. So what they could do, you designate the spouse as your beneficiary. The surviving spouse gets the other person's RRIF, and they could take withdrawals, subtract the tax they have to pay on it for the extra income, and give it to the deceased spouse's beneficiary. So that's a way of using the Income Tax Act to get around that huge lump sum. SSTF's recommendation is to allow an option for a non-spousal beneficiary to get the value of the RRIF paid out over a 10-year period. The amounts received would be taxable each year as they're received at the beneficiary's tax rate. If the beneficiary died during the 10-year period, the remaining value would be fully taxable. And this way, the tax on the death of a single senior would be more equitable, given the fact that a surviving spouse has the withdrawal spread out over a time period that could exceed 10 years. The 10-year payout for non-spousal beneficiaries should be an option, though, because there are situations in which the beneficiary of the estate could be in a higher tax bracket than the deceased, so would prefer that the deceased single senior's estate pay the tax. I want to stress, I'm not a financial advisor or a tax planner. You should consult an advisor to make the right decision based on your circumstances and needs. I'm just a single senior with a RRIF. I want my son to get a fair shake and not lose half of my RRIF to taxes.